Hello, welcome back to Tarot Tales.
Yes. Welcome back to Tarot Tales, you guys. My name is Heather of Shadow and Shine.
And my name's Kelsey of Soul Light Affirmations.
We're happy to have you here.
Happy to have you here. We're doing our topic today is so fun, Heather. I'm just so looking
It
forward to it.
is. I'm so excited. I have way too much information to share in one
Well,
episode.
when you talked about we talked about this last week, I was like, where do we begin? Like, there's
I
just,
know.
but
And
we're
then we
gonna
just,
take it step by step.
there's a lot of steps to take. But before we dive into our spiritual topic of the day, which, in case you guys didn't know, in case you missed it last week, we're going to be talking about aliens.
Starseeds,
Yes.
extraterrestrials, aliens, synchronicities, kind of those experiences that defy explanation. We're kind of
Yes.
talking about all of that today.
Otherworldly, very
Hmm.
much so, not necessarily grounded here on Earth, um, which is okay because Earth is kind of crazy right now. A couple of announcements though before we get started. Um, I barely prepared anything, so I got to bring it up here so I can list the details. But I do have an event coming up this weekend that I want to invite anyone who is in the Denver area. If you guys tune in, if you guys hop in on the YouTube live, I want to let you know about this event coming up on Sunday. So, Sunday, June 14th. I am going to be at, if I can get this to load, there we go. I am going to be at New Terrain Brewing Company, which is in Golden, Colorado. They're doing this thing called Book Fair for Adults too, because this is the second one that they're doing. The first one was like a couple months ago. I wasn't there for that one, but I'm included for this one. And basically, imagine a scholastic book fair like when you were a kid, but this one is designed for adults. So there's going to be drinks, there's going to be alcohol. Obviously, it's a brewery, so there's going to be drinks there. Just a short little list here of some of the other things that are going to be there. There's going to obviously be lots of books for sale. There's going to be a tattoo artist there. There's going to be someone selling candles there, permanent jewelry, and just like all kinds of fun things. And me and my friend Vanessa are going to be there doing readings for you guys.
Ooh, that sounds fun. What a unique place to do readings. A little book fair. That
Yeah.
brings me back to the Scholastic.
Yes. Although I don't remember tarot readers there.
Not at my school.
No,
I don't
none of mine
think.
either.
Good
But
point. But that sounds
yeah.
like fun. What a unique place. And like it sounds like a place like you could get a lot of shopping in, like with different
Yeah.
artisans.
Yeah, lots of different artisans, books, obviously. So if you're a book lover, you're gonna love this event. If you're a beer lover, you'll love the event too, obviously. But this is gonna be running from 11 a.m. until 4 p.m. this coming Sunday. So definitely come on out if you're around Golden, Colorado. I would love to see you and hang out for a little bit. And, I don't have the information for all of this in, like, the YouTube description just yet, but I will add it, and I will also put it in the show notes. So if you check this out elsewhere in other places, you can get all that good information. So that is update number 1. Update number 2 is Shadow barking. I never know if you guys can hear them
I
barking or not.
I can hear them. Yep.
Okay. They're like, "We're gonna give you the update." It's the Chihuahua
The
update,
Chihuahua update.
there's always a Chihuahua update. Also, hello to, I'm trying to figure out how to say this name, it's a long name. Ra Rajakon? I don't know. You wanna try it, Kelsey?
Nope. I'm not gonna butcher that. I'll just respectfully say hello.
Okay, we see you though. You start
Yeah.
with an R and you end with 6632. I got the numbers, so
If they're here, they can tell us how to pronounce it in the chat.
yes. And hello to Sebastian as well, who just popped in on the chat. So we got people popping in on the YouTube chat. So we're saying hello there.
Hello, hello. Hi, Shadow.
Yes, Shadow has definitely popped in on the chat. The other announcement I have is I have recently restarted my Patreon.
Ooh.
So, if you guys are interested in joining it, I kinda go through, like, this weird thing with it where it's like I'll I'll post for a little while, and then it's like and nothing really happens, which is my own fault for not being consistent and just sticking it out. And then I'll just, like, forget it, I'm not gonna do it, and then I'll delete everything. Like, I won't even just leave it there, I'll delete.
All your hard work.
I know, I'm like, I don't know what I'm thinking, I just wind up deleting everything, and then I'll come back a few months later, I'll be like, "I'm gonna give it another try," and I guess I'm in one of those phases, but in comparison to the last time I was doing things on Patreon, like, the platform itself, like, the design of it, the way that they're doing things on it has changed a lot, so I was like, "Okay, with all those changes, maybe that will be helpful to keep me motivated." So,
Yeah, I've heard good things about the platform. So,
yes.
and I think also, yeah, I think is making a commitment to it and keeping the stuff up will be
Yes,
huge.
not deleting it. Yeah,
Yeah,
because you can do, like, free content for people, which I'm always happy to do, but, the idea is to obviously have people who are going to wanna be committed and subscribe, and it's honestly not a huge amount to do that. I support other creators, and I'm subscribed to 3 different people paying wise. So, I walk the walk. I don't just talk the talk when it comes to that. So I support other creators too who I believe in.
it's an exchange of
Um
energy for sure. Yeah.
exactly. I feel like that's important. So the link should be I don't think I have this in my description. I'll have to add it, but if you go to like my main profile information, all of that will be there, but the link is gonna be patreon.com/Heather Schultz. That's how you can find me there, so
How exciting. I'll looking for
and
your
Shadow and
astrology
Tinkerbell.
courses.
Yes. Yeah, I think that might be a good place to actually put some of that stuff behind a paywall.
You
So,
like yes, your knowledge is so worth it. Absolutely. So I support you, girl. Woohoo. That's exciting.
yeah. We have a question here from Sebastian asking us what we are doing. Uh, yeah. Kelsey, you wanna let 'em know what Tarot Tales is all
Well,
about?
Tarot Tales is a wonderful podcast. We talk about all things woo woo. The menu ahead for today, like, and this is kind of every week a standard, is we do card pulls for the energy of the week ahead. Heather gives us an astro update. We do a little cosmic check in, and then we delve into a spiritual topic. And today we're talking
Yes.
about aliens and star seeds and extraterrestrials and our experiences surrounding. So, welcome, Sebastian. Welcome to you if you're new. I hope that was a good summary.
I think it was fabulous. It made sense to me. So,
Wonderful.
yeah, yeah, no, that's exciting, but I think that is it for our updates, Patreon and the event coming up. Unless Kelsey, you do you have any update, any news to share?
Not as it stands. No, not
Okay.
right now. But if anything comes up, I'll jump in. I
Fantastic. That's what
have
we
my
love.
I have my little alien head with me right now, my
Oh,
extraterrestrial
yay!
crystal. For those of you who can't see, if you're listening, it is a beautiful carving of an extraterrestrial's head. And it
What
is
kind of
made
crystal is that?
aventurine. So it's really
Ooh,
good for manifesting abundance, all of that.
yes.
And I have a cool story about this crystal too. Maybe later on I can touch on it. But
Yeah.
it's yeah, and it was like I was thinking about it today and I got a sign from the universe, like a synchronicity as I was thinking about this crystal. So very cool.
I'm excited to hear about that story.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, shall we get into our card pull for the day?
Yeah, let's do
I'm gonna
that.
mark the timestamp because I'm not
Oh,
gonna
good
forget.
job, Heather. You're on it.
I'm on it. Last time you were on it, so I'm
I
like,
don't
I
know
gotta
what came
remember.
over me.
Hey, I appreciate that. Someone's got to keep it in check. If it's not me, it's got to be you, and I got it.
Well, it just creates more work later, right? So,
Yeah, because then you have to go back and you have to like go back and like where was this? I don't know.
and you don't want
So
to, as beautiful as we are, as our voices are, to listen to us all the way through just to find
I know.
timestamps.
I'm like I don't enjoy listening back to my own content, to my own
Me
voice
neither.
constantly all the time. I'm like, I just don't. I'm glad everyone else finds it helpful. And That's why we're here. That's the most important thing. But I'm like, I don't need to listen to me. I
No,
really don't.
no, I think it's a phenomenon to find your voice awful. Like it's hearing it back on a recording. I'm like, "Ooh, do I sound like
Although
that?"
although I don't mind listening to my music though.
It's different though. I feel like
Yeah,
it's different.
that's different. When I record music, it's different. But I don't
Mhm.
need to like listen. I don't need to sit here and listen to myself talk though. I'm like, "Oh, Heather, we get the point. Shut up."
I get it. No, I'm the same way. Well, and I don't like listening to myself sing either. So
Well, you're not
I'm not a
recording
singer.
music, so it's all good. Okay. Well, I got spicy summer right here. You know, the big
Yeah.
if you missed it last week, this deck is
Ooh, it's a
huge.
massive deck.
It is.
It's so
So
cute though.
it is. It's a lot of fun. It is really good for all of your summertime themed readings. You can find it at shadowandshine.com if you want a copy of this for yourself, but forewarning, it is a challenge to shuffle. So, but I'm gonna try shuffling it a little bit. I'll probably do the same thing I did last week and just kind of lay it down here on the desk and pull a few cards that way. But I will give it a little bit of a shuffle first, just so we can mix up the energy. I have to shuffle these cards vertically as opposed to horizontally, because it is that big. But we'll get a
You
few.
just look tiny.
I I feel like my hands feel microscopic right now. They
Yeah.
really do. I feel like a toddler shuffling cards. Um, but yeah, well, let's lay it down and we'll pull a few cards this way. And there we go. So this is easier. We'll get some messages here for the week ahead. All right. Road tripping. There could be
Ooh.
travel coming up, you guys, over the course of the next week. So yeah, and of course, road tripping is not getting in a plane, it is traveling via land in a car. This could be a road trip that's just maybe a couple of hours away, maybe not too far. It could be like a day trip. It doesn't necessarily have to be an overnight situation. Or it could be, clear across the country to like the other from one coast to another. So there could be some travel coming up. We are in that summer travel season. So that's exciting. Let's see what else we can get
I'm
here.
going away this weekend, Heather.
So it's for
So
Kelsey.
I am part of your collective, and that
You
resonates.
are. Where are you going this
We're
weekend?
going 3 hours away. We're like it's a place called Prince Edward County. That's where we're headed.
Okay.
So yeah, a nice little getaway for
Like
Philip
a
and
little
I.
honeymoon kind of
A mini
thing,
honeymoon. Yeah, it was.
especially before the puppy comes along.
That's why we're doing it. That's why we're doing it.
Yeah, for sure. Because once that puppy comes along, then you gotta start planning all of your travels around that puppy.
It's a different life.
It is. I
Dog
I
mom.
under I understand. We also have beach bum. So
Okay.
perhaps those travels are gonna take some people to a beach.
I'm
So
I'm going to a beach.
oh my god.
I'll just get out of the way.
Kelsey, you're hogging up all the energy here.
Sorry. But I bet there's a few people going to the beach. I bet there's a few.
I'm sure. Even if there's not a road trip involved for you, that's okay. Maybe you're just, going like 30 minutes away or something to your local beach. Honestly, when I was living in LA, these two things were kind of true because I mean, you have traffic there. So it's like, I when I was living there, I lived like pretty central near Hollywood. And if I wanted to take a day to go to Malibu, to go to the beach, for example, that was a road trip.
Mm.
That was kind of like a road trip. You'd be sitting in traffic for a while. So even if it's local, that makes sense. But yeah, there could be some beach adventures coming up this weekend. Let's take one from over here. We have Cancer season coming through. So we're not quite at Cancer season just yet, obviously. It is still Gemini season. I apologize for Shadow, by the way. I know exactly why he's barking. My neighbor across the way from me right now, I can see him. I can see what he's doing. My neighbor on the balcony across from me, he has like weights and stuff out on his balcony. He's out there lifting weights right now.
And that's
And
threatening the shadow.
Shadow's watching it, and he's just yelling at this guy, "Stop
What
lifting
are you
weights."
doing?
Actually, I have some really good weights in here because right before we went on,
Yeah.
I had 80 pounds worth of weights delivered to my door for my tent for this
Oh,
weekend. I
wonderful.
I could barely bring it inside.
That's a lot, 80
I
pounds.
know. I'm like, "How am I gonna get this into my car now?"
Holy
Oh my
smokes. A
god.
few trips. A few trips.
Yeah, yeah, because because 'cause we're gonna be on pavement. We're not gonna be, like, on grass where you can pin it down
Right.
through the ground, so I'm like, "Oh, I had to get weights." So, yeah, that's that's a whole fun thing. I'm excited, uh, as a little, spoiler alert, I'm excited to have a garage to put these
Yeah.
things in.
Yeah,
Anyways,
exactly.
that's besides the point. Cancer season, getting back to cancer season. That will be coming up at the end of June. We're not quite there yet, but you could start experiencing or feeling some of the cancer-like themes that could be up on deck this early. Cancer, it traditionally rules the 4th house, and the 4th house is the house of home and family, your private life. It's ruled by the moon, so you could see emotions up on deck, maybe feeling a little bit more emotional in general this week. Doesn't mean it's like bad emotions or anything, but there could be emotions happening. So yeah, this is all about family, your home life, and foundations. So um if we have that going on, especially you put that together with road trip and the beach, you could be going to the beach or taking a road trip with family, for example. That could be how that's connected. Um, but yeah, there's definitely some emotional stuff going on. It could be emotional purging, just you feeling more of your feelings in general, your emotions. Again, I don't think it's a bad thing whatsoever unless you have like bad bad feelings towards your family, which some people do. But if you are going on that little trip with them, I feel like it's going to be all good vibes. It's more like a cozy kind of feeling.
Mhm. You know,
So
as someone with prominent cancer placements, this reading really spoke to me, Heather.
I read it just for you,
You're
Kelsey.
just for me. Road
I
tripping,
know.
beach days, and I
I
have like
know.
I'm a Cancer rising, Cancer Venus, like
Right. Yeah. All of
Cancer
that is coming
Mercury.
up. Exactly, so there you go. But
Well,
if you guys resonate with Kelsey, let us know.
yeah, you could be twins. Leave it in the comments.
Yeah, there's other people out there with cancer placements and that kind of thing, so let us know. But Kelsey has some cards to pull as well for you guys.
Sure,
So,
let's get into it. So,
maybe these cards are gonna be for me.
well, and like, oh, shoot, that just shot out. It flew across the room, and
They're already
I'm
ready.
crisscross applesauce, so I had to untuck myself there.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so, alrighty, so energy of the week ahead. We'll pull a couple of cards here. Let's see
Yes.
what comes through first. Okay. So this popped out right away, obstacles and challenges. And with this card, I kind of get big Five of Wands energy. And this, like, okay, my throat, as I was saying this, it's like, it's almost like you're afraid to make a move. You're afraid to speak your truth. For some reason, I'm feeling like someone listening. And the message that's coming through is a lot of the time, the obstacles are in your head. A lot of the time. Like, and sometimes there's things in our external world that make it difficult, but a lot of the time it's overcoming the obstacles and challenges within you, the anxiety, the worry about, there might be something coming up for a lot of you, but obstacles and challenges is coming through. But again, that message of like being afraid to take a step because you're afraid of what might happen. That's kind of what the energy I'm getting here. But let's see, as the week goes on, what else are we getting here? Oh, yeah. And this came out sideways, and it's the new beginning card. And it is a woman stepping forward onto earth, and she's got the staff. It's very much the fool energy. But with this sideways, like the sideways of this card, I'm feeling like it's almost like there's a new beginning coming in, but it's almost like you're afraid to take that step into that new beginning, right? That new, fresh idea. You're worried about, okay, What's this going to cost me? What's the labor involved? Am I ready for this? Am I confident enough? Can I carry this? All these questions may be running through your head. Now let's see what else spirit has to say about this. Yeah, and again, so remember my throat chakra was closing up before, and the throat chakra came out reversed. So there's something that needs to be said here. There's something,
Mm.
a truth that needs to be spoken, something this week. And as long as you're speaking from your heart with conviction and being respectful, it's important that you get a message across to step into this new beginning. Let's pull one more card. So conversations are going to be important this week. Yeah, yeah, seeing what needs to be sacrificed in your life. Maybe there's some self-limiting beliefs, or maybe there's a conversation that needs to be had with somebody that's not helping you, or a situation that's not helping you, but there's that sacrifice card. What needs to be kind of cut away in order to step into this new beginning? And I'm seeing with these conversations, with careful attention to your words this week, there is this new beginning, this destiny that you're stepping into. So very interesting. So some of you, there's something right around the corner and you're scared to step into it. That's kind of what I'm understanding. And
Mm.
this may resonate for you in different ways. This might be, this might be something like very public. It could be something private that you're struggling with. But regardless, that's what's coming through. And because we are talking about star seeds, aliens, extraterrestrials today, I'm going to pull a card from the Star Seed Oracle. So this is
Ooh.
something I know Heather and I are going to do a swap for deck.
Yes. I'm
So
so excited for that deck.
Heather, yeah, Heather and I are doing a deck swap, and I've had this deck. We're going to talk about star seeds. We're going to talk about extraterrestrials and our experiences. And I first got this deck in 2021. And I used it a lot, and I feel like it's time to pass it on to someone. And Heather's that person. But let's see, as a collective, what our message is from the Starseed Oracle deck. What is our message today? Okay, very interesting. The Great Severing. So
Mm.
Mars energy, anger, conflict, softening to love. So, very interesting. The obstacles and challenges card came through earlier. So, there's like almost like tension I'm feeling for some people, something that you're going to have to step into and understand understand yourself a bit better, how to communicate a bit better. But this is a shadow card, one that may feel confrontational. Don't be afraid. It's here to bring to the surface anything that's standing in the way of letting love in. Right? What did I say? What needs to be
Oh, yeah.
sacrificed? So maybe it's a relationship, maybe it's a way of thinking. Um, the warring planet of Mars is our constant reminder that it's important to soften, forgive, and find our way back to love. There are many things in the human experience that make it difficult for our heart and soul to stay open to the never ending source of love. We're all wounded, and our unconscious wounds inflict wounds on others. It can feel like a never ending dance we can never escape. If
Mm.
we aren't careful, before long, we'll see the world as a scary, dangerous place where fear and anxiety roam free, which is, again, that obstacles and challenges card that came through. Your internal world is going to reflect in your external world. If this card services, it could be for two reasons. Firstly, you have to acknowledge the difficult emotions, situations, conflicts, and wounds and fears that are causing you pain and anxiety. And secondly, for you to find your way back to love. So, when we're hurt, it's normal to close off our heart to the world, to let the painful experience confirm the agony of separation in early life, soften and find your way back to love anyway. When fear, anxiety, and paranoia paralyze you, it's normal to want to hide away from others in the world. Come out of your cave and soften your heart anyway. We're all innocent children spinning our way around the world. Find a way to see the innocence in all people, especially yourself. And don't be afraid to speak your truth, right? Take the time. Um, and it's about changing your mindset towards, things that softening your heart to love, and not like letting people walk all over you. That's not the message here. The message here is to stand firm in what you believe, but also be soft in your heart and allow love in. So your starseed soul inquiry is, how are you cutting yourself off from love? How can you soften towards those who have hurt you? So there might be some conflicts this week. There might be, and of course, like, you might resonate more with Heather's message. I know I did. Like the beach, the road
It does
trips, but
sound a little happier, to
but
be
there might be
honest.
but there might be obstacles within those trips.
Right.
There might be
That's
obstacles,
true.
and we always do. We always have stuff to deal with as human beings, having this
Yes.
experience. right?
That could be the emotional part
Yeah,
because,
the
you know,
Cancer.
with Cancer season coming through, being ruled by the moon, the moon ruling our emotions. So yeah, it could be an indication, you know, of like, oh, well, you know, we should stay at this place. No, let's go stay at that place. Or, you know, I want to do this. I want to do that. Whatever, whatever stupid family conflict
Yeah.
happens.
And being around family, maybe you can agree with this, Heather, but sometimes it can be triggering to be
Oh,
like just
totally.
like around like even people you like love and have
Oh,
fun with. Like
absolutely.
it can bring back memories of, oh boy, like it's,
I mean,
yeah.
don't get me wrong. I love my mom. I love going to visit her and spend time with her. But after a certain amount of time has passed, I'm like, oh, I need to go home.
Yeah.
Like, there's a reason that we don't live under the same roof anymore.
Mhm. Yep, absolutely, absolutely. But yeah, that's the message this week. I'm gonna see, yeah, but it's looking. I feel like they need to pull one more card here. So
Okay.
just one more.
And I
Whoa.
have Shadow here so he can calm down. The neighbor's still there. He keeps, like, I've caught him still looking over there. Like, there he is. He's working out.
Yeah, and I keep getting this universe card, which is very interesting.
Ooh.
Very interesting. It's popped out, like it flew across the room, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna put this back in. It came back. So the universe card, very interesting. It gives me like the world vibes in traditional tarot, but it's about how far you've come on your journey. And it's about the reward that comes from the discernment that you've built and the ability to know what's good for you, what works for you, and to speak your truth. That's kind of the message I'm getting here is don't be afraid to express yourself this week. Uh, but try not to let that planet Mars take over. That Mars, like that.
Mars can be frustrating at
Yeah.
times.
Try not. Yeah. Exactly. But that's the message for the week ahead.
All right. Good heads up for sure. What do you think, Shadow? I think he's allowing Mars to get to him when it comes to the neighbor across the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I can't tell him to go inside. I wish he kind of would. So he wouldn't bark. Okay, can I put you
Is he,
down?
is he like
I've
on a fitness kick? Does he usually do this?
not at this time.
Oh.
I mean like the the weights have always been out there and I've seen him do this before, but he's never done this during tarot tales.
Oh.
So he's like, today's the day to do it during tarot tales. So I'm like, thank you so much, sir, because now you're going to drive my dog crazy. All right. Can I put you down and you be quiet so I can tell all the people about all the astrology? Is that okay? Why don't you take a nap? You're already like falling asleep here in my arm. So, oh my goodness. Okay, he's down. And now I'm going to mark our timestamp so I don't forget. And we're going to get into some astrology here. Lots of fun astrology. I will say this much. When I was looking into the astrology this week and even last week's, um, it like the energy has been so much lighter and so much better than other stuff that I've talked about like during season 1, especially like Aries season and stuff. Like there's so much better stuff right now. So there is a lot of opportunity in the energy is what I want to say.
I was looking at the transits too, and they looked quite promising.
They
So,
are. They
yeah,
are. Just yesterday we had that Venus Jupiter conjunction, you guys. So, you know, I'd be curious to know. Let us know in the comments. How was that energy for you? Did anything significant happen? Anything important? Anything memorable? Be curious to know. So, yeah. So coming up here first, we have June 13th. We have Venus ingressing into Leo. All
ooh,
right. This sets us up for warm, dramatic, heart centered, very main character, but make it romantic type of energy.
mm.
When Venus moves into Leo, love wants to be seen, celebrated, and expressed boldly. This is a transit of open heart affection, creative confidence, romantic gestures, and remembering that joy is not frivolous, it's life force.
Mhm.
Collectively, this can bring a stronger desire for attention, appreciation, beauty, glamour, play, and passion. People may feel more drawn to dating, flirting, creating, dressing up, performing, or simply taking up more space in a way that says, I deserve to shine. The shadow side is needing the validation a little bit too much, turning love into performance, or expecting others to read the script that we secretly wrote for them. Yeah, heads up,
It's
you
very
guys.
Leo.
Trigger.
It's
Yeah,
very
it
Leo
is.
shadow.
I mean, Leo is fun. Don't get me wrong. Leo energy is great. I mean, Kelsey, you know firsthand all about
I'm
Leo
my
energy.
sun is in Leo.
Exactly. But every sign has its shadow elements as well. Um, yes. So Venus in Leo loves generosity, but it also wants reciprocity. If the applause only goes one way, resentment can build. This transit asks, where have I dimmed my heart, my beauty, or my joy to make others comfortable? Venus in Leo reminds us that love should not make us smaller, but it should help us glow. So, the key words we want to think about with this transit is romance, confidence, creativity, pleasure, visibility, self worth, heart healing, playful connection, luxury, celebration, and choosing people who make you feel radiant.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm gonna enjoy this transit.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, especially for someone like you whose energy naturally resides in Leo with your sun, your life force being there, um, you'll definitely probably feel this more than other people. But we can all definitely benefit from it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely. I'm excited. Marking my calendar. June 13th, you said?
June 13th.
Ooh.
Yep, so Saturday. Saturday, June 13th. All right. So that brings us to Sunday, June 14th, which, like I said, you can find me at New Terrain Brewery for readings that day in Golden, Colorado. But, anyways, yes, June 14th, otherwise known as Flag Day, otherwise known as my twin flame's birthday. It's a
Wah,
different.
wah.
Aw, it's a,
That's another episode we can.
well, you know what? We did do the twin flame episode. That
We
was
did.
like Valentine's
That was
Day. So
early. That was
yeah,
very one of our early episodes. I don't think
it
it's even on.
was.
But if you want to check that out, go to Heather's YouTube.
Yeah, it's on
Go back.
YouTube. It would
It's like
not be.
episode 2 or 3 or
Yeah,
something. Like
it is. It's early. It's
but it's
early.
funny. It's funny.
It
We
is.
talk
We talk about all yes, the toilet seat.
the toilet seat. A toilet seat's not a present. And
No.
that's all I'll tell you guys. You have to go watch it if you want to
Yes.
know more.
You gotta go watch the playback. It's good. You'll have a few laughs, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Um, anyways, June 14th, we have the new moon in Gemini,
Ooh.
and that's gonna be happening at 10:54 PM Eastern Time. This opens a new cycle around communication, learning, ideas, choices, and perspective. This is a reset for the mind. Collectively, people may feel more curious, chatty, restless, or ready to explore new options. Gemini energy reminds us that we don't have to have everything figured out right away. Sometimes the best step is simply asking better questions. This new moon can bring conversations, fresh information, important messages, writing projects, social connections, short trips. Oh, I said road trips earlier. Short trips or shifts in how we think about something. The shadow side is mental overload, scattered energy, gossip, overthinking, or trying to chase too many ideas at once. Gemini wants options, but the new moon asks us to plant a seed, not to throw the whole packet into the wind. As we're setting intentions with this lunation, you might want to ask yourself questions of what story am I ready to rewrite? And what new perspectives do you want to have come through?
So interesting. I like that
Mhm.
energy. The energy feels fresh.
Yeah. It's
Um,
light. All
I,
this Gemini stuff, it's very light.
I've always really enjoyed Gemini season. Also, question for you: what house rules Gemini in your chart? I was curious.
Gemini for me is it it's in my 7th? Yeah,
Ah,
7th. Yeah, because
interesting.
yeah, my 7th house. So and that's another thing, you guys. Pay attention to where Gemini is in your birth chart, because if you do plan on setting intentions with which I always say, new moons are the time to set intentions. That's when you wanna start those affirmations, those new beginnings, those new chapters, planting those seeds, right? It's the full moons that we see those things come to fruition. So, with the new moon that we're having right now, when we get to Sagittarius season, we'll have a full moon in Gemini. And it's during that full moon, whatever intentions you set on Sunday, you're going to see the results of that come up in like November, December, whenever it's happening, Sagittarius season at the end of the year. Um, but one of the ways to go about doing that is obviously paying attention to where Gemini is in your birth chart. And if you set those intentions for that particular area of your life, that's going to really amplify that energy.
Hmm. Yeah, no, that's interesting. So yours is the seventh house.
Yeah, so like contracts,
Relationships.
long-term relationships, like one-on-one relationships.
Uh-huh.
And I do have some pretty heavy duty contractual stuff I am dealing with right now.
That makes
So,
sense. Like,
yes, it
yeah,
does make
that's
sense.
so
Yes.
interesting.
What about you? Where's Gemini in your chart?
My 12th house.
Oh, okay, so this is gonna be more of like an internal process for you.
Yeah, and that's where my south node is too. So
Ooh,
it's very
okay.
interesting. Yeah.
That
It's
is
very-
interesting. Yeah, it'll probably be very it could be even though it's Gemini, there's depth in that.
Mhm.
Very, very spiritual, but I feel like the Gemini part kinda works in your favor though, because it keeps it from becoming too heavy.
Oh yeah, like I feel like it's how do I put it? Like I'm I like to dabble and like learn a lot about a different like I'm very much Gemini energy, especially in my approach to spirituality and like the work that I do. And I'm very much I like to kind of have my like have an understanding of everything, right? Which is very Gemini
Yeah.
energy. It's very I love information and I love it. It's just I love research. I love all of that. But I yeah, I think it's interesting. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, yeah, that'll be good. Well, at least we know it's all aligning, that's for sure.
Mhm.
Um, all right, so June 15th, I swear it's like every day this week, it's like 13, 14, 15. Every day there's like a new transit happening. So June 15th, Monday, June 15th, we have Venus in Leo, and it will be sextile Uranus in Gemini. This
Mhm.
transit brings a sparkle pop of electricity all over it, with a playful shakeup to love, creativity, social connections, money, and self expression. Venus in Leo wants passion, attention, romance, joy, while Uranus in Gemini brings surprises, fresh ideas, unexpected messages, and unusual conversations. Collectively, this can open a door to sudden attractions, exciting invitations, creative breakthroughs, new friendships, or a change in how we express what we want. It is very say the bold thing, try the weird idea, let yourself be surprised type of energy, because this is a sextile, the energy is supportive rather than chaotic. But it still asks us to be open. Something different may actually be exactly what the heart needs. The shadow side of this energy is craving excitement just for the sake of stimulation, getting bored too easily, or confusing a spark with long term substance. Not every lightning bolt is meant to become the whole weather system. This transit asks, where is my heart ready for more freedom, play, and possibility?
Mm. Very interesting. I like
Yeah.
that. It's like keep your wits about you, even if like
Yeah.
something comes along. It's like okay, stay grounded. You know, enjoy,
Yes.
but stay grounded.
Yes. Like
Mhm.
for example, with like the romance aspect of this, especially with the Venus energy, you could meet someone unexpectedly. It could be in an unexpected way. You didn't see it coming. There's chemistry and everything, but don't make plans to like register for gifts to get married or
Make a
something.
wedding registry or
Right. Don't, like, make a Pinterest board and do weird AI things like, "Let's see what our baby would look like if I take their picture and my picture, we put them." Don't do that.
yeah.
Don't do that. Have fun, enjoy it. I'm not saying that those things can't happen. If it does happen, that's gonna be later on down the road, but just enjoy this for what it is if something like that happens, because there is the chance that they could be here today, gone tomorrow. It could be like a summer fling too, so
Hmm.
yeah.
Good to know.
Okay. June 16th, we have Venus and Leo trine Neptune and Aries. So that Venus and Leo is up to all kinds of things this week. It's like Venus gets right into Leo and it goes straight to work.
I'm here.
Right?
yeah.
Definitely. All right. This energy brings us dreamy, romantic, inspired, and even a little bit of cinematic energy. My heart has a vision board with a soundtrack. This is a time to blend love, creativity, beauty, imagination, and spiritual inspiration. Venus and Leo wants to express love boldly and for the heart, while Neptune in Aries adds a wave of intuition, idealism, courage, and creative vision. Collectively, this can feel like a softer and more magical opening around romance, art, compassion, music, beauty, and emotional healing. It's wonderful for creative work, spiritual connection, heartfelt expression, and believing in love again. Not necessarily in a naive way, but in a way that reminds us that the heart still has dreams. The shadow side is over romanticizing someone, projecting potential onto reality, or which we were just talking about that. There's a lot
Yup.
of energy going around. Or falling in love with the fantasy instead of the full truth. Neptune can blur the lens, and Venus and Leo wants the love story to feel grand. Beautiful, yes. Grounded, that part still matters. The transit asks, what dream is my heart brave enough to believe in again? Let inspiration move through you. Create the heart, the love, the softness, and follow the spark that feels divinely lit. Just keep one foot on the ground while your spirit reaches upward.
Which is what we said. Like it's
Mhm.
a lot of that energy this week of
It's
staying
very
grounded,
similar.
keep your
Yeah.
wits about you, enjoy, but yeah.
And those 2 transits are only a day apart, so it's gonna be when you have those 2 types of energies back to back like that, it's those energies are really just amplifying and magnifying each other. So, I mean, this is definitely gonna be like, "Oh my god, I love this person," but stay grounded. Don't put the pedal to the metal. Don't scare them away, okay? Like, they really could be, like, the real deal, no doubt about it, but you're probably not gonna have that happen right here, right now.
Well, I know if you're out there, I was a hopeless romantic too. Like I always was like, "Oh man, is this the one? Is this right?"
Yeah,
But I
there's
think it's
nothing wrong
normal.
with that. Yeah,
It's
there's nothing wrong
normal.
with that. I feel like it's important not to lose that because so many people lose that and then they kinda, like, get into a bitter place and they're like, "Oh, all men, all love is awful and evil and
Yeah, we don't want to get to a place of
right,
that.
no, and don't get me wrong, that, we don't wanna be so much the other side either where it's like we're ignoring misogyny and patriarchy and things like that. It's a tricky thing to be centered and balanced and, just kinda stay somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Mhm. Alright, June 17th, Venus is doing one more thing.
Mm.
Venus and Leo is gonna be opposite Pluto and Aquarius. And when Pluto comes in, Pluto's not playing. All right. So think intense, magnetic, and revealing. This transit can bring hidden feelings, desires, insecurities, or power dynamics to the surface in relationships, money, creativity, and self worth. Venus in Leo wants to be loved, adored, chosen, celebrated, while Pluto in Aquarius asks us to look at control, attachment, obsession, group dynamics, and where we may be giving our power away. Collectively, this can feel passionate and emotionally charged. Attractions may feel stronger, creative urges may feel deeper, relationship patterns may become harder to ignore. This is not casual, breezy love energy. This is why am I reacting so strongly and what is this showing me energy? The shadow side is jealousy, possessiveness, manipulation, comparison, fear of rejection, or needing external validation to feel powerful. Venus in Leo wants the spotlight. Pluto in Aquarius may expose where the need to be seen has become tied to survival status and control. This transit asks, where am I confusing love with power, attention with worth, or intensity with truth? Something may rise from beneath the surface, but it's not there to destroy you. It's here to show you where your heart is ready to reclaim its power. Choose love that empowers, not a love that consumes.
Mm. Okay. That's June 17th. That's what you said.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. June 17th. Yeah, I almost kind of feel like that energy, it speaks in a sense kind of to twin flames, I feel, in a lot of ways, because that twin flame energy is very like all consuming. It can be very toxic and chaotic. And when truths are revealed, it's like if there's a truth that's revealed about your twin, what that ultimately does is it's revealing a truth about you, really.
It's a
So,
mirror. Yeah, it's a
yeah,
mirror. It's your a lot of their wounding like mirrors your wounding. And yeah, I agree. It can be
exactly.
intense, all consuming. And when things come to the surface, it can be hard to face. Yeah.
Totally. So,
Mhm.
yeah, I definitely feel like a lot of that may align for twin flames. Um, and that yeah, that can be tricky for sure. You gotta make sure that love is empowering, not consuming. Another area I could kinda see that playing into outside of twin flames is maybe relationships where 2 people are kind of together, not for love, but it's just like a mutually beneficial relationship, like, "Oh, you bring X amount of money to the table, so now I have money," kind of a thing. But yeah, so that could be a power struggle as well. So,
Mm.
it's like, am I with this person because I really love them, or am I with this person because it
Out of
gives me
convenience. Yeah.
yeah, like, convenience, it gives me a level up, like, it gives me a higher status in society, whatever the case may be, because that's not sustainable either.
Mm-mm. Well, that's interesting energy. We'll see how it plays out.
Yes, I feel like it's gonna be in different ways for different people depending on the dynamic,
Mhm.
obviously, but yeah, it should be interesting. I feel like it's good stuff that could be, good for reality TV. There's gonna be some drama.
Woo!
Yes. Alright, so next up, June 18th, for once, we don't have Venus to talk about, but we're still talking about Jupiter, or we're still talking about Leo because we got Jupiter in Leo. And
Right.
it's going to be squaring off with Neptune in Aries. This transit brings imagination, faith, creativity, romance, spirituality, and the desire to believe in something bigger. Jupiter in Leo wants joy, visibility, confidence, and bold self expression, while Neptune in Aries brings dreams, intuition, idealism, and spiritual courage. Collectively, this can feel like a surge of inspiration. People may feel called to chase a dream, take a creative risk, believe in love again, or step into a more heroic version of themselves. It can be a beautiful energy for art, performance, and spiritual work, as well as manifestation and heart led action. But because this is a square, the energy can also get inflated. We may overpromise, over romanticize, ignore red flags, confuse confidence with certainty, and Jupiter says big home, while Neptune says trust the dream, and neither one is especially interested in reading the fine print. Dream boldly, but stay discerning. The vision may be real, but it needs grounding, honesty, and a clear path forward.
Mm.
So there's a lot of reminders with a lot of these transits is you can dream, you can do the thing, you can fall in love with a new person who comes in your life, but stay grounded. Keep yourself
Mhm.
in check.
Well, and not only that, but like take the steps forward to, if you have a dream, if you have something that you want to happen, it's
Yes.
like take those grounded measures in order to move it along, right? Like, and if it's not a
Yes.
relationship, it could be a project, it could be something
Right.
else, right?
And if it's something like with business, for example, make sure all of your T's are crossed and your I's are dotted. So it's like read the fine print. Have a lawyer look things over. If it sounds too good to be true, make sure that it's not actually too good to be true.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, those kinds of things. That's important. Um, and I think it's interesting. There's a lot of energy here this week that's also kind of revisiting the aspect of like if you've given up on love or if your heart has kind of hardened to love to like reopen that heart chakra back up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Invite it back in. And that kind of plays in with our last transit coming up on June 19th because Chiron, the wounded healer, is ingressing into Taurus.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to bring us a whole new energy when it comes to how we heal as a collective, because that's what Chiron does. Um, so yeah, a new healing chapter will begin when Chiron enters Taurus. The collective wounds shift towards themes of safety, stability, self-worth, money, the body, the earth, our basic sense of security. Taurus asks us, do I feel safe being here? Do I trust the ground beneath me? Do I believe I am worthy of peace, pleasure, and support? Collectively, this transit can bring healing around scarcity, survival, fears, financial insecurity, body image, food, comfort, housing, possessions, and the way we define value. It may reveal where people have been living in a constant state of bracing, always expecting for loss, lack, or instability. The gift of Chiron and Taurus is learning that worth is not something that we earn by overworking, overgiving, or proving ourselves. It is something we return to. This transit can help us rebuild our relationship with the body, nature, resources, and the simple things that make life nourishing. The shadow side is clinging too tightly to comfort zones, resisting change because it feels unsafe, or measuring self worth through money, appearances, productivity, or what we own. Taurus wants security, but Chiron reminds us that true security has to come from within. This transit asks, where have I mistaken survival for safety? And what would it feel like to actually receive support? Come back to your body. Come back to the earth. Come back to the truth that you are worthy before you produce, prove, fix, or achieve anything.
Okay. Very interesting. So, yeah, like I haven't done a whole lot of research on Chiron and like as a collective, how that'll
Mhm.
impact us. But is
Yeah.
it, how long is it? Like 8 years? I'm just like you thinking about
Yes,
it.
it is there for a while. I personally have been doing a little bit more research on this simply because as Chiron is moving into Taurus, this isn't happening for me yet for several years, but while Chiron is hanging out there in Taurus, I will be experiencing my Chiron return in like 5 years.
Yeah.
So, so yeah, like anyone, I would say anyone who's born like in the mid 70s onwards now, you're going to be experiencing your Chiron return. Um, so yeah, so for me, I was curious. I'm like, "Oh, what's that gonna mean for me?" Like, it's not 5 years from now, but still, let's find out what am I in store for here. And honestly, it makes so much sense. So, at first I was reading up information on what it means to just be born with Chiron and Taurus natally. And for, I guess, a lot of people in my age bracket, I guess you could call us like the late Gen Xers, the early millennials, Zennials, Oregon Trail generation, whatever you want to call us.
A few
um,
names for you.
I know. Oh, Gen Y. We were also Gen Y before they came up with millennial.
DJ
So
Pauly D.
yes. Well, hey, I can verify we're born the same year, so Pauly D, he will be having his Chiron return as at the same time as me. His Chiron is also in Taurus. We're in
Whenever
that
I think
same
about like the age group, I'm like DJ Pauly D.
yes,
Like
me and DJ Pauly D for sure. So, just a few months younger. Um, actually, I think his birthday is coming up, like, next month. I think he's, like, a 4th of July baby or
yes, because
something.
they always
So,
had his birthday.
yeah.
Like I remember his 30th birthday and Mike's 30th
Yeah.
birthday. Gosh, we should do an
Yeah.
episode on
I
Jersey
was about to
Shore.
say,
Like
Mike's birthday is close to, Pauly D's as well.
I think they're within
Yeah.
like the week of each other. Like
Yeah, yeah, they're very close to each other, and they're close in age too. Because 'cause I'm like, Mike is, like, maybe, like, 2 years, 1 year younger? I don't know, but close.
something like that.
We're all close in age. That's we all would have gone to high school together basically if we were plopped in the same
That's
place.
hilarious. I was in high school watching them. That's what was going on for
I
me.
know, that's crazy. But yes, so, but I guess, like, the theme for our generation is we may have grown up with a lot of scarcity in a sense. Now,
Mhm.
I did not grow up with scarcity in the sense of like, "Oh, we're worried about paying the bills. We don't know if we can pay the bills next month or whatever. We're afraid we're gonna lose our home." Some people may have actually experienced it to that extreme, but I know for myself, and this may be true for a lot of other people in my age group, I think the scarcity mindset was more so the mindset of there is plenty there, but it's like we just have parents that are afraid that it's still not
I was
enough.
gonna say it's
Yeah.
the generation before you.
Yes,
Yeah,
it's the generation before always thinking it's never enough, it's never enough. When you're looking at the checking account balance, and you're like, there's enough here. Like, what's the problem? So yeah, like that's typically what we would have grown up with. And I feel like me personally, I have been experiencing this Chiron and Taurus energy, even with it not being there just yet. Because I think about everything that I've been going through lately,
mhm.
the Donalds in the bathroom, not feeling safe, not feeling secure in my home, basically. And I've been dealing with that for a long time, even before March of this year when the bathroom chaos started and everything. 10 years ago, I went through the bed bugs in LA and everything else. I like once again, different episode, different story for another time altogether. But like I was homeless and suicidal during that time. Talk about scarcity and not feeling stable, not feeling secure. I've lived that a lot, and I lived that a lot when I was in LA. Um, I I feel like that's kind of a part of the nature of being in entertainment and, uh, being like the starving artist route. It's like you never know whether you're gonna have like $5 or $500 in your bank account in a sense. You never know what's gonna happen. And now, literally just this month, just now, and I'm not gonna get into the whole thing here and now on this episode of Tarot Tales, it'll come when the time is right, but I'm finally starting to step more so in a season where some of that stability is coming in, and Chiron is the wounded healer. I feel like that is that Chiron energy. It is Chiron coming in and saying, "We're gonna heal some of this because it's time for you to stop living like you're waiting for the other shoe to drop. This is why I can't stay at hotels like a normal person."
Oh, there's
So
so much, like, yeah, there's so much wisdom to be gained with that wounding as well. Like,
mhm.
I feel you're right. I feel like that period, like, there's like it's so interesting how these different transits affect you, right? And everyone's is so different, but it does
Yeah.
align with
Mhm.
what you've told me personally in your life. I can
Mhm.
see that. I can see the stabilizing and like,
Yeah.
and, but which is beautiful, which is
I'm
beautiful.
yeah, I'm hopeful it'll be that way, not just for me, but for a lot of people in my age group, for Pauly D and Mike Sorrentino
I,
too. I hope it's that way
I
for
wish them
you
the
as
best.
well. I know. Oh
Shout
my
out.
gosh. And you know what? Like, not to get sidetracked in here from Chiron and Taurus or astrology, but on a side note, I know we did mention in last week's episode talking about Spencer Pratt in a future
Oh.
episode, and now we can't look into the mayoral race
Yeah, it's not a
because
thing
he
anymore.
yeah, he's not
He's
doing
out.
that anymore. He's out. Um,
Shoot.
so with that being said, we could do instead of like Spencer's road to being mayor because that's not happening. What we could do is we could definitely switch it up and we could do like a spirituality pop culture themed kind of episode where we talk about Spencer and Heidi and Lauren and the Jersey Shore cast and whatever else comes to mind.
I am 100% on board. I think that'd be so much fun. Reality
Yeah,
TV. It's just like a passion of mine. So,
like a
um,
millennial pop culture kind of episode because that is
absolutely.
that is all very millennial coded, all of that. So
Very much. It was an experience. But
it
I'm just,
was
yeah, I'm looking
such
at
a
my
time to
time.
be alive.
Well, it's so interesting too. Like my Chiron return is roughly around 2043.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I'll check in with you then.
Where what is your Chiron in?
Leo,
Okay, Leo. All right. All right.
third house.
Yeah. Interesting. Interesting. Oh, that will be interesting. Where is Taurus for you now? So we know how the
um
energy is going to
11th
impact you now.
11th house.
Okay. So
But it's also
healing.
like 12th house too if you're looking at Placidus. Yeah, like
Okay.
mhm.
Okay. So maybe some combination healing of friendships and group dynamics as well as like maybe how that impacts you personally, like internally.
I could see that for sure. I'm very interested. I'll be doing more research on Chiron now, and I'm sure
Yeah.
people listening will too, because what an interesting concept, the wounded healer. Like, but there is a lot of astrologers who say there's a lot of strength in that wounding as well, right?
There
It's
is. There is.
a
I
lot to
mean,
be
I don't
learned.
I don't feel like Chiron is there to hurt us.
Mm,
Um, it's there to be like our secret superpower in a sense.
mhm.
It's kind of like where life maybe were to point something out to you and say, "This is your weakness. This is what's slowing you down." And then Chiron kind of flips the script and turns it around and says, "Okay, yeah, that was intended to harm you, but we're going to turn that around and use that as your superpower to change your life, to make your life better and to make other people's lives better around you."
And there, yeah, and like there's a lot of like healing through doing what scares you, what wounds you,
Yes.
what like because a lot of like I can see like as like with a Chiron and Leo, fear around expression, being seen, creativity. But like,
Yeah.
but look at me. Look what I'm doing. I'm on a
And
podcast and I'm very
and
public.
specifically with you having that in your 3rd house,
Hmm.
that's being seen, like, in your community.
Hmm.
So that's not necessarily, like, on the world stage, but kind of, like, more so the people who are close physically, like, closest to you, your community.
Yeah.
So,
Like,
uh, neighbors, the barista, whoever.
but that is interesting, like, right? Like it almost gives like I understand what you mean. It's like almost like being the only barista in town and like you serve everyone every morning. It's
Right.
like that's kind of the connection. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Well, maybe what it is, maybe you're not necessarily afraid to be seen on a global aspect because being on the internet, that's global. That could be,
Mm.
like for example, we have listeners in Mongolia. Hi Mongolia.
Shout out.
So obviously, you're not afraid of speaking to people in Mongolia. However, you might be afraid to speak to people like right there in Canada.
Maybe, right? Like talking to your neighbors and
Yeah, it
yeah.
could be that. It could be right there in Ontario, maybe that's where the fears are. "Oh,
It's
Ontario is
where
so
the monsters are.
scary."
I'm just kidding. But anyway, now everyone knows my deep dark fears.
Right. Scary Canadians.
Sorry, Canadians.
That's okay. I'm not scared of Canadians, I'm scared of my people right here, Americans, because we
There's
are
a there's a lot going
scary as
on.
all hell.
There's a
I
lot going
know.
on. Yeah.
Oh, it's too much, but yes, that is our astrology for the week. Lots of stuff. I think for the most part though, a lot of that energy is pretty fun. As long as you stay like balanced, you keep yourself in check, you can have a lot of fun with that energy.
Mhm. I like it. That's not like thank you so much, Heather. It's always so interesting seeing your take. I like looking up
Yeah.
the transits too because I want to be involved. But it's funny seeing what
Yeah.
you have to say about it. It's
Your
always interesting.
commentary though is always so helpful because you bring a splash of a perspective as well there. So we love that.
Jersey Shore references and
Yes, we'll have more with that. Maybe one day the podcast will grow so big, we'll do some we'll have them on the show one day and we'll do readings for them. Like, if there's anyone I could see loving the readings, it would be Snooky.
she is a medium herself. Like she is
Exactly, she would love
incredibly
that.
intuitive.
Angelina too, because, like, her grandma or whatever, like, does all, like, the readings and everything.
Yes.
So,
I heard that. Yeah. So you heard it here first, season 2, episode 2. We're gonna archive this and we'll come back when
yes.
we have our Jersey Shore episode where we feature all of them.
Yes, we'll do readings for them, so it'll be great. But yeah, let's move on to aliens.
Ooh, ooh. So if you're listening, we have a question for you before we delve in, but it is related to our topic.
Yes,
We're
our cosmic
asking you.
check-in.
So we have our cosmic check-in today, but today our topic is like we're talking about aliens, star seeds, extraterrestrials, all of that. But our cosmic check-in is oh goodness. I usually have it ready to copy and paste. But it is, we'll just type it in. Do you believe in ETs, extraterrestrials,
Woo.
or aliens? So if you're in the chat, we would love to hear from you. And if you're listening, you can leave a comment.
Yes, leave a
Spotify,
comment
love
on
you to leave comments.
Spotify, yep.
Do you believe in extraterrestrials, aliens?
And if you're listening somewhere else, drop us a comment anywhere on social media. We'll
Yeah,
know what
come.
you're talking about.
Yeah, we
We
have a
won't
few
think it's
posts
random and
about it.
weird, so yeah. We
Oh,
won't think it's weird, so pick
I
pick a
read cards on
post.
the internet. I don't think much
Yeah.
is weird.
Yeah. No, definitely not. Well, clearly from our perspective, I think it's safe to say we believe that we are not alone
Mm-mm.
on in this universe, or we wouldn't be talking about this. What would be the point?
No, exactly. I think I do believe absolutely, and I know we've talked about this, but over the years I've had a number of experiences that have made me feel that there's more to, like, not even just like extraterrestrials, but more to reality than we can
Yes.
really explain. I've had some weird glitches in the matrix, and I've also had some like interesting like visitations and stuff, which we'll get into. But some of them have come through spiritual exploration, some of them through energy work, encounters with people. But I'd say I'm definitely open. I don't think I have like a real belief system in regards to extraterrestrials or star seeds, or but I'm open to learning, and I'm very passionate about the topic. When we brought this up this last week, I was like, Heather, where do we begin? Like
I
it's
know, there's so much. Well, it is kind of like we're opening up literally the galaxy of
Mhm.
information here. It is kind of infinite, it's endless.
Yes, it is. And but I think today, like we kind of like we might even have a few parts to this episode because
Yeah,
Heather, it sounds like you did some research and
I did. Part of this, because I was thinking about things I wanted to talk about, and a few years ago, before I moved to Colorado, when I was, living back in Chicago for a hot minute between LA and Colorado, um I was working at Enlightened Balance in Crystal Lake, Illinois. I'm giving them a shout out right now. Enlightened Balance in Crystal Lake, Illinois. I was one of the readers there. I'm technically still one of the readers there, just virtually only if you wanted to book with me that way. But there it's a cute little crystal shop in like the downtown Crystal Lake area. And they have readers there and all kinds of things. And when I was there in person, I would do a lot of their social media stuff, and I did, like, this whole social media series all about star seeds, and I went back to, like, those old Canva posts that I was working on so I could find it and be just like, "Wait a minute, there's so much information in those old Canva edits that I can share in this episode." So, I have all those here to share information about star seeds because 'cause I've got Palladians, Sirians, Andromedons, Octorians, which I know you wanna get into Octorians quite a bit, um, Lyrans, Orion, Avians, and then there's the star children after that, which are the indigos, the crystals, and the rainbows.
yes, yeah, they're like, and that's just this like that's just the
Yeah.
starseed
This
aspect of
is,
it,
like,
right?
the
Like
basic,
it's
basic stuff.
like holy smokes, what an undertaking. No wonder people specialize in this kind of work and like oh my gosh. But I remember we went through all of that a few months ago, you and I, when we had Tarot Tales After Dark. You and I had a
Yes,
Karma
yes.
Kyle and Horoscope Henry had a chat about star seeds.
Oh, yes. They
Yeah.
always have so many interesting things to say, but yeah, I'll just read here kind of like the opening statement, I guess you could say, of what I had written, just talking about star seeds in general. This isn't even like the specific star races, which I have more information on, but just in case you're tuning in and you're like, what is a star seed? What
Mhm,
are they? What is this? If you're totally unfamiliar, this is kind of just like a little educational background on it. A
mhm.
star seed is a highly spiritually evolved being who is from a distant star system who chooses to incarnate here on Earth to assist in raising its vibration. Star seeds can form in many different galaxies, such as Sirius, Pleiades, Lyra, Arcturus, etc. Each one has different distinct traits. These souls are usually very intuitive, empathetic, gifted, and easily tap into their psychic abilities. They can also be referred to as light workers, and frequently, starseeds do not feel at home and have a hard time finding said home because they are from another place. If you resonate with the starseed narrative, then chances are you might be one.
There, yes. And it's so interesting to think about, like when I think like I have like a little definition here too. and it's from
Yeah.
Dolores Cannon. Have you heard of her?
Okay.
I'm like,
Yes, that was just my definition. That was
yeah. No, you
my
wrote
own
that
little definition, but
yourself.
yeah.
Look
Yeah,
at
no,
you.
I wrote it all by myself. I'm
That's
such a genius.
well, no, it's so interesting because it does align in her teachings. Dolores Cannon, she was a hypnotherapist, and she
Yes.
developed the quantum healing hypnosis technique where she put people under hypnosis, and this is where she learned about star seeds and
Yeah,
volunteers,
yeah.
and she refers to them as volunteers, as
They
like
are, yeah.
advanced souls who choose to incarnate on earth to raise vibrational frequency, avert global destruction, help humanity transition into a higher dimensional existence. So
Mhm.
very, yeah, that's kind of
Spot
like, and I'm
on,
not
that's
sure if
right.
but it's very, that's kind of who I was first introduced to star seeds through. I think it was Rebecca Campbell's work, like years and years and years ago. But Dolores Cannon, I think, has done quite a bit, or did quite a bit of work surrounding star seeds. But you took
Yeah,
that
she
all in your
did.
lonesome. That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, I think before we get into any of, like, the star races, because like I said, I got information here on Palladians, Sirians, Octorians, all of them, and they all have, like, kind of, like, their own unique gifts and that kinda thing, and if you hear about their traits, you may find similar traits of your own within them,
Mhm, mhm.
because kinda like just being here on earth, it's like if someone asks you, "Oh, what's your background? What's your heritage?" Most people are not just like 100% one thing or another, you know? Like, for example, for me, I am German, English, and Swedish. Like, I'm not
Mhm.
all German, I'm not all English, I'm not all Swedish. I'm those 3 things, and it can be very similar with, star races. So you can resonate a little bit with the Palladians, and a little bit with the Sirians, and chances are if you resonate with both, then you probably have star origins in both areas. So it's just kind of like whatever resonates, whatever aligns for you.
No, absolutely. It's kind of like it's a belief system.
Yeah.
And you don't have to buy into it all, and you can
No,
take what
no.
resonates, leave what doesn't, right? But we're exploring the topic. We're talking about what's been defined and what our experience is with star
Yes.
seeds. Yeah.
I think that's what we should get into first is our experience because I don't even think we would look into like, "Oh, well, am I this or am I that?" if we didn't have our own experiences already.
Well, that's yeah, why we're here, why we're talking about it
Yes,
because
yes.
mhm. So, how do we want to start this, Heather? Do we want to go you first, me first? How do we want to do it?
Um, well, I'll go first because the first experience that I can think of, really goes back to, like, early childhood, like, beginning of life. I mean, it's not
Mhm.
like I popped out of my mom's womb and there was an alien that was there instead of the doctor, although that'd be interesting. Um, but I do feel like it definitely defines a lot of pathways that my life has gone down, and
Mhm.
I don't think it was until I was much older and I learned about star seeds and what this was to be able to understand what it was I experienced back then, because back then, I just thought maybe I was a kid with a big imagination or just whatever, like, I had no I had no framework to be able to understand exactly what it was I had experienced. So, when I was really little, I mean, we're talking, like, maybe 5 years old, even younger than that, every night when I would go to bed at night and this is gonna make me sound like a crazy person, but I don't care, I'm gonna say
Not here.
it. Not
No.
here. Nope, nope, we're all friends of the crazy here. So every night when I went to bed, I'd be laying in bed, and I'm not kidding you, I would see surrounding my bed, and if you saw my Instagram post about this yesterday, you'll have kind of like a visual of what it is. But I would see these creatures standing around my bed. They never touched me. They never talked to me. They were silent. They were very kind of stoic in nature. that they would just stand there, kind of like guards, almost like a protective kind of energy. But obviously, to like a little child, it felt very intimidating. I was like, oh my gosh, what is going on? What are these things? And
Mhm.
they weren't like alien, like the traditional alien kind of shape or anything. And again, I feel like part of this is just like the way that I was digesting things based upon what I could understand at that age. They reminded me of gigantic vacuum cleaners.
Right.
As funny as it sounds. They kinda had, like, these very strong, sturdy bodies that were cylinder shape, and then they had, like, these, like, cone-shaped heads, and their entire body was blue,
Mhm.
and they had arms that were like the hoses that you would see on, like, a vacuum cleaner, again, like, kinda like that vacuum cleaner, like, very, like, 80s vacuum cleaner vibes is the
With
best
the
way I can
face on the
describe
side,
it.
that's what I was
Yeah.
thinking of like, yeah.
Right, with, like, a little face on it, and yeah, so they had, like, these hoses for arms. The hoses were red, though, they weren't blue like the rest of their body, and like I said,
Mhm.
they didn't say anything, they didn't touch me, they didn't do anything, they were just very, like, strong, stoic, intimidating to a small child kind of energy. But I never understood why they were there. I just knew that they were there, and they were always there, and I would fall asleep, and I'd wake up in the morning, and no one was there, and everything was normal. It was like another normal day, and this went on for years, and I can't remember when it stopped, when I stopped seeing them. I don't see them now, obviously, and at that time, when I got older, I was just like, "Oh, it's probably just my crazy imagination, just a creative kid making things up in my head." But now, knowing what I know about star seeds,
Mhm.
I feel like I don't feel like that they were necessarily like the star seeds themselves, but I feel like they were like protectors, like almost like agents of the star seeds, agents of that in a sense. Protectors, guardians. And if you think about a vacuum cleaner, if you think of a function of a vacuum cleaner, a real vacuum cleaner, that's their that's their point. That's why they exist, to clean up dirt and crumbs and, whatever is left behind. They're there to clean things up, to make things tidy. And I'm like, maybe that's why they had this vacuum cleaner kind of presence to me. Maybe they were energetically cleansing.
Well, that's so interesting too. Like, it's almost when I think about like that kind of protector, that cleansing, I think of Archangel Michael too, with like, because they always say like he cuts the cords with his sword,
Yeah.
and they even
Yeah.
envision him with like a vacuum, vacuuming away fear. Like,
Mhm.
that's very interesting, that protector energy. And were you, like, I have a question for you. When they arrived, was it like right before you went to sleep? Was it like was there a time, or like, was it when your parents shut the door and went away? Like, I'm curious.
Yeah, it would be when, after, like, my parents would, tuck me in, they'd read a story, kiss me goodnight, whatever it was. It wouldn't happen when they were in the room. It would
Mhm.
happen after they would leave the room, turn the light out, close the door, and then they would appear.
Right. Ah, okay. Very interesting. But I do think it's interesting how they show up as vacuum. And like as a kid, that's like, vacuums are there to clean up messes and to
Yeah.
keep
Yeah.
things clean, right? So I wonder if they were cleansing, protecting you.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
I mean, especially considering, like, I didn't know where my life was gonna be headed at that point in time, obviously, but if you are someone who is, sensitive, empathetic, any of those kinds of things, which I was as a kid, absolutely. I was creative and sensitive. I still am to this day, and especially if you do resonate with the star seed type of thing, um, then chances are it makes sense to have that protection because it's just like, your guides, your angels, the star seeds, all those different things, however you wanna label that basically. They know what you're walking into. They know that you're walking into a very dense, dangerous earth, basically, and especially as a child, you need that protection. I'm sure that that protection is still there now. It's just, unfortunately, I'm an adult now, and I'm not as, like, tapped in that way now as I was then.
Well, it's a different, like, as children, we're just so much more in tune. And
Yes.
I have lots of memories of being a kid, and yeah, same thing. It's interesting experiences, and now looking back as an adult, I'm like, oh, okay, there was more to that.
Right.
Mm,
So we have an interesting comment here from imported baby 23. In Christianity, aliens are demons. Well, interestingly, I have to disagree. Number one, I've never seen anywhere in the Bible where they actually talk about aliens, like using the terminology aliens. Um, and not only that, but uh, I mean, I personally, I believe in Jesus. I don't necessarily subscribe to like religion and rules and those kinds of things, but I do subscribe to the teachings of Jesus. Love, loving yourself, loving your neighbor, that kind of thing. Being of service to others, that kind of thing. I definitely believe in with his teachings. But what's interesting is I personally feel there's a lot more that we don't know than what we do know. And it's also important to remember that the Bible was written by man. So therefore there's going to be some flaws in there.
yeah, yeah, and it's interesting because when we talk about, like, I'm going to get to this when I talk, but a little preview because it came
Mhm.
up. The Palladian workbook, which I'm going to talk about how I came into possession of this, there is discussion of Jesus in here, very much so. So, yeah, again, I'll get to that story
Yeah.
of how it's connected, but there is connections between this kind of these belief systems,
Yes.
right? So,
There's ties. I mean, even if you look at astrology, for example, there's 12 zodiac signs, 12 disciples.
mhm,
There's a lot of ways that spirituality, and I don't wanna say, like, Christianity in the traditional biblical way, uh, but I would say more so in Jesus's teachings because there's a lot of things happening in the world even today that I feel like if Jesus were here and now, the same people who are on their pulpits saying, "Oh, we're Christians," those are the same people that would still crucify him today. So,
yeah, well, I think that we need to have open hearts, right? We need to
yes,
have open minds,
exactly.
open hearts, and I think that's what's important. And the teachings, I always say I love the teachings of Jesus, right? And I grew up with them,
Exactly.
and I've always resonated. But maybe we need to have an episode where we talk about that eventually,
Yeah, yeah, we
right?
could, because there are ties with everything, and it's interesting too because, like, with, angels and demons and aliens and all that kinda stuff, angels, demons, and aliens, if you think about it, they're all coming from, like, what? Like, above, I guess you could say. They're descending onto Earth, right? The other interesting thing is when it comes to like aliens, you do have certain groups that are not like the best either. They're the grays, they're the reptilians. There are those groups, which I guess you could say is more so aligned with the negative energy of like demons. But also, again, if you look back at like stories in the Bible and stuff like that, demons are what? Fallen angels, right? So they were all angels at one point. They were all designed and created to do good. But obviously, someone at some point chose that they didn't want to do goodness. They didn't want to be of love and light, and they wanted to uh, kind of tap into more of like a selfish energy, I guess you could say. And that's how
And
you get demons.
we've
Which
talked
and
about shadow and light, right? You can't have
yeah,
light without shadow and without
exactly.
darkness. There is
So you
duality. Like,
Yeah, you have aliens that do, like, good work, like angels, and then you have aliens that have bad intentions, like demons. So there's parallels all across the board. And I think in some ways, some of these things are just labels too. Because if you think about it in the Bible, how many times do you have people who are approached by aliens and or approached by aliens, approached by same difference, approached by angels, and the angel has to warn them, "Be not afraid," which means they're intimidating, kind of like my vacuum crew. They're intimidating, But that doesn't mean that they're bad. Um, and I don't feel like angels, like, they're not the traditional cherub with the wings kind of thing. Like, I don't think they're
Have you seen
cutesy
like
like
the
that.
the angel, like
Yeah,
the real, like, oh my goodness, the, like, if you look up the
exactly.
biblical angels, like, holy
No,
smokes,
yeah,
those
that's
look
why
like
they're
extraterrestrials to
Eh,
me. Like,
exactly, that's
yeah.
why they're saying, "Do not be afraid." So I do feel like a lot of the times when they're talking about angels in the Bible, they may be talking about a Palladian or an Octorian or whatever the case may be. I feel like there's a lot of things there that cross. Some of this is just about communication and labeling and how we express ourselves in a lot of ways. Um, so yeah, that's why I feel like my vacuum crew were probably angels in a sense, just, angelic vacuum cleaners?
Well, and I think you're right to, like, when we talk about, like, how we put into words what we experience, like,
Yes.
is that an angel or is it an extraterrestrial? Like, it can be hard to tell the difference for some people, like
Yeah,
that discernment, like that's, and that, it takes time, it
and
takes
that can it can
exposure.
be it can be one and the same.
Yes. Yeah. I think,
Mhm,
and again, it's important to, like, just to say that this is like, we're exploring.
mhm.
We're talking about possibilities here and what we've experienced, because I don't think either of us has the answers,
No, I
but
don't think anyone does.
we
Not
have
even someone like
pieces.
Dolores Cannon, who, obviously wrote tons of books and information, and no one has it completely figured out. I think we have, like, little snippets into it, and it's fun to theorize and, um, most importantly, yeah, you have to come to these conversations with an open mind and an open heart, because if you're determined that you're only gonna see things one way and one way only, then this is probably not gonna be for you.
You're probably not listening if that's you. Like,
Yeah,
let's be real, okay?
exactly. Probably not our
You
people
probably haven't made it
anyways.
this far if
No,
unless you're
you
just hate watching. And if you're hate watching, I mean,
oh, that's a whole other different level. That's a whole other thing.
that's a commitment.
I know. I never understand those people, but hey, the people who do that though, those are truly the biggest fans.
All right. I agree.
Yes.
But what an interesting
Yes.
story, Heather. And like, when was
Yeah.
the last time you saw those beings?
Oh gosh. I mean, I I can't say for sure, but this is kind of just like my guesstimate. I think about a lot like how the brain as like a child, like you absorb everything up until around the age 7, and then like you kind of become more of like your own person in a sense from like 7 onwards. So I'm going to say probably around that cutoff range was probably around when it happened, maybe 7, 8 years old, somewhere
Right.
around there.
Okay. Yeah, that's super interesting.
I should
Yeah.
start I should start setting some intentions though to just like maybe to have it, like, revealed to me if, like, my angelic vacuum cleaning team is still with me, because 'cause I'm sure that they are, it's just, now I don't physically see them, but I'm sure that they're still around.
Oh, I would think so for sure.
Lately, they've probably been spending time in the bathroom.
Yes. Yes. And that's quarantined. So,
Yeah,
um,
exactly.
yeah, that's super interesting. Yeah, like when I think about my childhood, like, I remember my first exposure to kind of like the idea of extraterrestrials was E.T., the movie. I
Oh,
remember seeing
yeah.
that when I was really little. And so that was kind of my vision. And this is funny, but you might remember this, the Spice Girls movie, when they see the aliens. Like,
Yes, I remember
I
that.
was
I saw that movie in
horrified
the
by that
theater.
scene. I was horrified by that scene. So, like, that's kind of like what I pictured it to be. But as a kid, this is so funny because I never really had experiences like that, where there was like a physical manifestation. I
Yeah.
know my third eye was very active as a kid. I saw a lot in my third eye, and I eventually was able to kind of close that down because it was giving me nightmares. I was seeing things come out of the closet. I was, like all of these things and not understanding. But what I did have happen, which kind of was odd, and then I actually discussed this with my mom. and she had the same thing happen to her. But as like a little girl, being like 4 to like 7, I'd say, like from like
Yeah.
age where you have memories to
That's
like
like the
that.
age range. That's like the core age range these experiences happen.
Well, I remember laying in bed and hear like a radio would turn on in my ears,
Mm.
like tuning into a different station
A
and
frequency.
a different frequency, and then I'd hear like weird voices, like it sounded like aliens to me, like. And my mom said the exact same thing would happen to her as a little girl. So, ooh, spooky. But
Well, that
that's
sorry.
my frequency tuning in. It's happening
It
as we
is.
speak.
Actually, that's my realtor. So,
Oh, too good. Um,
yes, no, all good things.
but that's like kind of the closest that I can get. But like moving to adulthood, I think my first exposure to like the starseed concept and revisiting and having I had a like a mini awakening when I turned 21. That's when I was exposed to like the work of like Dolores Cannon and Rebecca Campbell, who's done a lot of work on star seeds, and she wrote the deck that I'm going to gift you. So lots of that information. I actually collected, like I got an astrology book, I got this Palladian workbook, I got like a ton of stuff. And then I got into I met my twin flame, and it kind of like I kind of was
No,
focused
yeah.
on I was focused on that for a few years and kind of lost sight of
Yes.
this work. Well, fast forward 2020, 2021, I kind of re-enter the space. I had my major awakening, which we've discussed like over on this podcast before. But I guess my first kind of like I had taken a quiz when I was 21 about what kind of a star seed I was. And I was like, okay, like one of those like BuzzFeed quizzes, but like it
Right,
was
yeah,
but I think
yeah.
it was written by Rebecca Campbell. So there'd been some
Oh,
research put
okay.
into it. But I think I got like the result of like split star seed Syrian and Mintakan. Fast forward to
Oh, okay.
2021, 7 years later, I got a starseed reading on a whim, like Origin, and she said the same thing. You are a split
Oh.
Minnetonka Syrian starseed. So that was kind of my like second exposure to this idea of star seeds, and I thought that was like super interesting. But like
Yeah, that's
again,
really cool. It confirmed the quiz, which was kinda just meant to be a silly little
yeah.
whim,
So yeah,
and
I
it's
had a
like, "No,
reading.
not a whim, it's a thing."
But it was so interesting. What I loved about her reading was she prefaced it by saying, "This is not to divide people. This is to
Right.
show you your gifts and how you can show up in the world." And that's like kind of this belief system. It's not like one's better than the other, or
Yes.
you're different, or you're not as evolved. That's not the point. The point is
Right.
we all bring something unique. Um, so I thought that was interesting that I got like the result both times. Then I started doing spiritual work. I started stepping into energy work, doing tarot readings, doing more research on that. And so like I'll briefly touch on some things and then I'll get to the big story. But my Heather knows. But
Yes. I also wanna hear about that crystal too, so
so very interesting. Like, so this was along the journey, this crystal that I talked about in the beginning. It's a carving of an extraterrestrial or alien head. And it is made of aventurine. I found this at a random, like, it was like a spiritual craft show. And I remember very vividly, like, I was so drawn to this. I picked it up and I felt just like a beam of warmth come to my crown chakra as I picked it up. And
ooh.
like I had like a bunch of stuff. Like I was like picking all like taking all these crystals. And then I remember my total for the order was $311.11. And the woman selling the crystal was like, "Who are you?" She's like, I have some questions." She's like, "This is an angel number. Like, you're aware of angel numbers, right?" I was like, "Yeah." So we got into talking, and now she's like like a mutual of mine on Instagram. But her daughter sells crystals. But anyway, this morning I was like, oh, maybe I should tell this story. Maybe I shouldn't. But I was thinking about it, and this car pulled in front of me, and the license plate said 311 as I was thinking about it. So
Wow.
Ooh, there's
Yeah.
there's something about this crystal, and there's something I was supposed to pass this along. So whether the number 311 connects with you, or maybe you need to go find yourself an extraterrestrial adventuring crystal. But it was so interesting today. A car pulled in front of me and the
I was
license
about
plate
to say,
311.
I feel inspired. It doesn't have to be green aventurine, but I just feel inspired to find an alien crystal in general. Like,
Yeah.
whatever kind of
Eventually.
crystal is, because I have a lot of crystals, but I don't think I have an alien one. I've got dogs.
Yeah.
Clear.
This is the only
I
one I
do
have. This is
I
the only
do
one.
have I do have a green aventurine Baby Yoda.
Oh, okay, that
If that
counts.
if
That
that
counts.
counts. I mean, it's technically like a pop culture kinda character, but it's supposed to be an alien.
But
So I do have Baby Yoda. I have lots of dogs. I showed those off last week. Actually, there's one I missed. I'm gonna show this dog off right now. It's, um, it's Gold Sheen Obsidian.
mm,
It's another dog.
cute. It kind of looks like a seal from far away.
It's a dog though. It's a dog, I promise. It's a dog.
I can see when it's close up, but from far away,
Yeah.
it's pretty
So I
though.
hold it back here.
Yeah, it
"Arr,
looks like a seal.
arr."
It's cute though, but I
Yeah.
think you have one. You have a little alien one.
Yeah, I
But
guess it's just the Star Wars version.
it's
So,
so interesting. Like I it was at another like basically like along this journey, like I got this, and this was before kind of everything that I'm talking about took place. So I had this piece of information, this little crystal, as part of my toolkit. And I got a reading with a medium and intuitive that I was really I really resonated with. And she gave me a couple of readings, and she said, how open-minded are you about like extraterrestrials? And I was like, actually, like, I'm open, I'm curious, I know about star seeds, whatever. And she said, well, not to scare you, but you have two very large extraterrestrial guides that work with you. And I was like, oh, dang. Like, oh, I was
of
not
course,
expecting that.
they're
But
always very large and in charge.
yes, but I was like, okay, I was like, this is something I need to explore a little bit. This is something.
Yeah, yeah.
So
They're your
fast forward.
bodyguards, your security.
Well, and fast forward a couple months, I went to a psychic fair, as one does. And I went, and there was a woman there, and she was like, I'm not giving readings. She was the organizer of the event, but I was looking for malachite bracelet, and we're chatting. And as I was looking, she started reading me without like actually like it just was coming through.
Yeah, it
She was
happens.
she was like, yes, you are a star seed. You know what a star seed is? I was like, yeah, I've heard of that concept before. And she was like, well, you have two very large Arcturian guides with you. And she's like, they are blue, they are very tall. And I was like, you're not the first person to tell me that.
Right?
So I really was like, okay, there's more to this. Um, and interestingly enough, so that's kind of like little hints, little bits and pieces of hinting towards what's coming. But
Yeah,
Heather and I, when we started this podcast a few months ago,
I
we
love this story.
we had someone pop in here, like randomly, and like kind of like I think they were kind of trying to be a troll. They were trying to joke with us a little bit,
Always,
and
always.
they said, "Are y'all talking about aliens?" And we weren't. We were talking about something else, and we both giggled, and
Yes.
we said, "But maybe in the future we can talk about
Right.
it.
Here we are. If that person's around, now is the time.
If you're here, let us know."
Yeah.
But so that night, I went. I've told Heather about this, but I went to bed, went to sleep. Nothing like some people take like sleeping meds or like melatonin or things like that. I didn't have anything in my system. No alcohol, no drugs, whatever. Right? I'm asleep, and I wake up, and I'm like awake. Like I look over at my clock, and it's like 3 o'clock in the morning, and I look up at my ceiling, and I just have this overwhelming presence of something in the room. And it was like when you say be not afraid, I'm like,
Yep.
holy moly.
There you
But
go.
I look up at my ceiling and I see this beautiful, like, sacred geometric shape. So like the flower of life, like kind of like that, but it was like I can't even explain it. I almost have to draw it, but I can't remember exactly what it looked like, but it was a circle and it looked like sacred geometry. And it was almost like this silver color. It was foggy and like it was like emerging out of
I
my
love
ceiling,
that. I
coming
love that.
towards me, and then suddenly something very gently pushed me down on my like push my shoulders down. It was almost like a healing was about to take place.
Yeah.
And then my now husband, like he was like beside me and he was like freaking out in his sleep. Like he was like, oh, and then so that bothered me. I was like, and I was kind of scared to be honest. So I said,
Right.
I just wasn't prepared. I guess that's all it was.
Yeah.
I wasn't
You
prepared
weren't
for these.
supposed to be awake for that,
I think
is what it comes.
I think there
Yeah.
was some sort of a healing taking place,
Yeah.
and I woke up
Yeah.
in the middle and spoiled it. But I
Yeah.
said, but I did ask because if you're unsure of something, and if you're not, you can always ask, "Are you of love, light, and the divine plan?" Right? Like you can always
Yeah.
ask
Yeah.
questions like
Oh,
that.
totally.
I did, and it was like, yes, overwhelmingly, like, yes, I am. I'm here to help. I'm here to heal. And I said, could you come back, like
Right.
another
Can you let me
time?
go back to sleep
Can I
before this
like I just need
happens?
time to process what is
Yeah.
happening here. And I wasn't, and sometimes like I look back and I'm like, I wish I just let what happened happen, but maybe it wasn't meant to at that time. But
Right. Yeah.
I think it was some sort of a healing, some sort of
Oh,
like,
totally.
but
Totally.
when we brought it up, you talked about the point of like the different types of star seeds, right? And Arcturians, it really
Yes.
resonated
Arcturians for sure.
with that
I'm
sacred
sure
geometry.
I'm sure that's what that was. It was your Arcturian dudes. They were, doing their job. So,
Yeah, so that's my big experience. And so, but I was like, I have been in sleep paralysis. I know what that's like. I've been like half awake, half asleep. I know what that's like. I was wide awake. And I didn't go back to sleep after that. Like I was like, it wasn't like I went back to sleep. I was like, I can't sleep. Like what was that? I need
oh
to do
yeah.
research.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like I was like awake, like sleeping, then awake, then asleep. It was like woke up, stayed awake. Yeah, it was something.
That's so funny. I can't say whether or not this was an alien thing or something else. Cuz it's not my experience, but literally earlier today before we came on to do this show, I was having a conversation with my mom and she told me about the weirdest experience she had last night.
Mm,
So, last night, I guess, first of all, Callie woke her up in the middle of the night. For those of you who don't know, Callie is her dog. And Callie wasn't like feeling well or whatever, so she like threw up in the middle of the night. My mom has kind of just been stressed about Callie in general lately. She's all like worried about her aging and getting older and so on and so forth. Anyways, so yeah, she takes care of Callie, took her outside to go to the bathroom. This was at like 4 o'clock in the morning, brought her back in, and she goes back to bed. And then she's not able to sleep because she's hearing this weird noise. And she said that the noise, she didn't see anything, but she said the noise was like it reminded her of, like, a death rattle, basically. So it reminded her of, like, the noise someone makes, like, as morbid as it sounds, it reminded her of, like, the sound someone makes before they die. Like, when
mm,
someone is actively dying, like, an older person in hospice or something, and they're having, like, the really heavy breathing, like, it's their last breaths kind of a thing. She said it sounded like that kind of a noise. And at first, she was worried that it was Callie because Callie threw up and she was not feeling well and everything. And she was just like, oh my God, is Callie okay? She went to
mhm,
look at Callie. Callie was fine. She wasn't like she determined it wasn't Callie. Callie was not the one making that noise and she couldn't figure out what it was. So, by now it's like almost 5 o'clock in the morning or something. She goes outside to look to see if there's like an animal or anything that's making that noise. I don't think it was an animal though, because like what animal makes that kind of noise? So, she still doesn't know what it was. She never found out what it was. I think it's very interesting that she was hearing such a bizarre noise before we had this episode. Maybe it was like a little encounter or something, because even my mom was like, "It's almost like someone was there making that noise."
Mm. Yeah, no, I've been there where you're like, there's something here. It's like
Yeah,
it's there's like a presence, and
yeah,
it's not what you think it is, right? Yeah.
exactly. Like, she
No,
knew
well, you
it
never
she
know.
yeah, she determined it definitely was not Callie. Callie was okay, minus throwing up earlier or whatever,
I'm
but
glad it wasn't Cali, like thank goodness. But
yeah, no, it wasn't Callie. She doesn't know. She does not know what the noise was, but she felt like there might have been like some kind of presence that was making that noise. And now she's like freaked out, like, "Oh, was it like a spirit or something?"
y'all
I'm
are
like,
talking about the
I don't
aliens
know."
again, aren't you? Like that's
Yeah.
it's
So
see
I'm
the
like,
power
I
of
don't know.
suggestion is really powerful with the
It is.
yeah.
It is for sure. I've never researched the noises that they make, but maybe this is something I have to do now. I don't know.
Oh, there's like we've opened Pandora's box when we
We
talk about
have, we
like
really have.
because there's so my
Yeah.
brain is going in a million different directions now. Like it's like yeah, like totally. There's a lot to be said, and I think we could have another episode on it for sure.
Oh, totally. I mean,
Mhm.
we've already been on for a while, and I have all this stuff about all the different star seeds, and I honestly don't think we're honestly going to get to any of it because we
Well,
have been on for a while.
we could also yeah, we could definitely touch back on it in like another couple episodes even and come
Yes.
back.
Oh, for sure. Next week, we're gonna be having a summer themed episode
Yes.
because we're creeping up on the summer solstice.
Mhm.
So, if you guys are interested in, like, manifesting your best summer coming up, I think we're gonna be talking about a lot of, like, affirmational kind of things, just kind of setting us up for a good, enjoyable summer coming up. Staying cool. Hopefully, the power doesn't go out. So,
I
yeah.
love that. Yeah, it'll be a great episode. Great like way to start a new season on the right foot. It's going to be raining here the next week, so
Oh
we're
my gosh.
cleansing. We're cleansing.
You are, you are. No, I mean, it's definitely not raining here. I think it is supposed to rain actually on my event on Sunday. I think it's supposed to rain, like, maybe Sunday, Monday, but otherwise, Colorado holds up to what it is. It's sunny here 300 days out of the year. So, it is,
Right.
like, that's the purpose of, like, the yellow circle in the state flag. It represents the sun.
The sun. Yes.
Yes, exactly.
Wow.
Sunny Colorado. It's always sunny. Um, but yeah, anything do we have anything else about our personal alien
Well, what's
experiences?
interesting, I guess I didn't get to the link with this book. So,
Yes, yes,
remember that
please.
that woman who gave a name to the guides, the Arcturians, like at that
Mhm.
psychic fair? It's funny because she said she recommended this book, and I had already bought it at the age of 21. So it came into my possession, and I said, "Wait, wait, wait."
Yeah,
And I googled it and I looked at it and I was like, "This one?" She's like, "Yeah." I was like, "I have it." She's like, "You weren't meant to read it until now." So like perfect. Like cuz it is dense. It is heavy. Oh, I guess
I'm
for
sure.
those of you who are listening and can't see, it is the Palladian workbook. And it is by Amora Klanyan. And there is just like I've gotten probably like 100 pages in at most, and it is so like but she said even the woman who recommended it to me said you need to take like 6 months to a year to really process the book
Yeah. How
often
many
like
pages is the book itself if
I
you're
think
only
it's
100 in?
300 and yes 320, so
Wow.
it's
So you're
dense.
only about a third of the way through.
And so I haven't even gotten to a lot. Like it is so much to remember. But I, like I said, that Gemini in the 12th house, I like to be everywhere at once. I
Yeah,
kind of,
yeah.
so it's
Nibble
hard
it
for me,
when yeah, nibble it when you're able to kind of a thing.
but it's something that I have and like I want to work on. But there's so much I want to work on too. And that's what makes it hard for me because I'm like, oh, and especially with my Saturn being in the ninth house, I have trouble sticking to one belief system. I kind of am like, I'm like,
Yeah,
but what about
yeah,
this one? But what about this one? There's like, there's merit in all ways of thinking
right.
in a lot of ways,
I
right?
was about
So
to say, I don't think it has to be what about this or what about that. It's more so about, I think they're all interconnected.
I
It's
think
more
so
about,
too.
like, how does this one connect with that one?
I
Because
think
there's
so too.
definitely a connection. Yeah.
What I'm discovering is like it's the connections and what resonates for me. There's a
Yes.
story in here. There's a story in here. She described that my jaw hit the floor. And maybe like another episode I can get into it, but it's a story about like the connections to Jesus. And yeah, maybe in a future episode, like maybe when we talk
Yeah.
about star seeds
Because
again
inevitably, we always have someone who pops in on the chat and
and
they
wants to talk about.
yeah, bring in Christianity and Jesus, and I'm not opposed to that because like I said, I love Jesus, you love Jesus, like, Jesus is our dude, we do love him here, um,
Mhm.
but I do think I feel like the fact that Christianity is always brought into the topic, it's more so of a reflection of societal conditioning, I believe, more so than anything else,
Well, and it
um
oftentimes comes across as like it's like putting down what we're doing and like
right.
using Christianity to put down the work we're doing. Like that's oftentimes what it feels like
Yes,
sometimes.
and even
Mhm.
even if that's not your intention, because maybe not everyone who pops into the chat has that intention, and we do have to acknowledge that. Um, but yeah, I feel like if anything, it's about being open-minded to say, yes, there is Jesus, but there's also this and there's also that, and there are
Mhm.
ways that this connects, and there are different varieties and interpretations, and that's one of the reasons why it's never sat well with me when it comes to Christianity, for example, where people are like, "Oh, if you don't believe in Jesus, you're gonna burn in hell." When you have some people who claim they believe in Jesus and they are some of the most hate-filled people on the planet, and yet those people are going to get into heaven, but maybe someone who is, Jewish uh, agnostic or, whatever other belief that they have, um that they're gonna go to hell because they believe in that, but let's say they treat people with respect and with love and with care, and, they're the friend who's there for you when you're having a crisis at midnight in the middle of the night, or, they take in the stranger, they feed someone who has no money, or whatever the case may be. They have this huge heart, but that person's gonna burn in hell? I don't believe that.
Well, I think anytime you weaponize a belief system, weaponize Christianity, weaponize anything, and use it
Yes.
to create fear or put down other people's beliefs, or be controlling, or like I don't think any of that is I think
No.
that can be really harmful, right? So I think
And I
yeah.
think that's part of the issue with interpretations of the Bible. And
Mhm.
people need to remember, like, I'm not saying everything that's in the Bible is wrong or false because there's definitely truth in it.
Mhm.
However, we need to remember who are the authors of the Bible. It is man. It is man. And yes, there is inspired word in there that is inspired by God. But
Mhm.
because it's still written by man and man is flawed, there's also probably some information in there that's not inspired by God and is more flawed.
Oh, I think so. Absolutely. The moment you have people writing scripture, like it's absolutely
Exactly.
there's like, and it's same to go with our history books. It's same to do like
Yes.
if there. Yeah, I'm with you there. But I think what the message we're trying to get across is we have open hearts. That you and I,
Yes.
we love the teachings of Jesus. We love the idea of helping one another, having community. Um,
Exactly.
and that's what matters, right? And if people pop in the chat and have questions or whatever, right? But
Right.
as soon as you're weaponizing,
Yeah,
man,
that's a no-go.
yeah.
And, feel free to disagree with us. We're not here trying to convince people either. We're
Mhm.
expressing our stories and what we've experienced and our beliefs, and if you agree with them, awesome. If you don't and you wanna believe something completely different, we have all the respect in the world for you to do that. You have free will to do just that.
Absolutely. You don't have to agree with everything, that's for sure. Yeah.
No, definitely.
Mhm.
So, yeah. Um, anyways, was that the full story with the book and
Well, I
everything,
don't
or
wanna
was
get
there more?
into
I'm
it because
like
it's a lot. Like, it almost
Okay.
deserves its own kind of,
Its
like, if we
own
do another
episode.
episode. Yeah, because
Yes.
it and, I think, yeah, we'll talk more in another episode about the different kinds of star seeds maybe,
Mhm.
and maybe which ones we resonate with.
Yeah, because like I said, I have this whole list here. I will keep it handy for a future episode, but it has some descriptions here of the different star seeds and kind of like their characteristics, their traits, things that they're gifted at. It covers different things that, um, not just like personality wise, but also it's just like there are ways you can apply some of these traits even to like real world kind of stuff where I mentioned in these descriptions, like, oh, if you resonate with it being an Andromedon, these may be some professions that resonate with you, for example, in the earthly realm, because these are things that Andromedons are typically good at, for example. Um, so it just depends. It's just like it's good info.
Um,
So we can definitely dive into that, but I feel like today's episode was great, obviously, for, oh, sorry, I just got distracted. I'm like, I just saw my birth date pop up on my computer.
oh.
Oh, oh, sorry, because of Jen. Jen's gonna be doing a zodiacal releasing reading for me, so I'm
Very
like,
cool.
"What? Why do I see my birth date suddenly pop up there?" Um, anyways, different story, random distraction. Uh, but yes, so we can get into the star seed descriptions, and you can get into more of your book, which I'm
Mm,
sure will be amazing to dive into deeper. But today's episode has been great just to kind of tap into our own backgrounds and experiences. So at least when we do dive into these other things, people kind of know where it's all coming from, where it all started.
mhm. No, I'd agree because it is a massive topic.
Yeah,
Massive.
there's so much that goes into it. Like I set my TV to start recording old episodes of Ancient Aliens cuz I'm like I just want to like brush up on information and just like watch that show a little bit now. And
Mhm,
it's so funny because maybe it's just because I am the daughter of an Aquarius. My mom is an Aquarius sun. And, they always associate like Aquarius with like that alien kind of energy,
mhm,
which is funny because Aquarius is actually like and we have Pluto in Aquarius right now, obviously. So Pluto being an Aquarius is power of the people. I think it's kind of ironic it has that alien tone when it is also very much like people tone in a sense, like collective energy tone.
mhm,
Um but my mom, ever since I was really little, and I feel like this is almost kind of like her own personal tell that she's a star seed without her even knowing. My mom is left-handed, and ever since I was little, she's always told me, "I'm not from this planet because I'm left-handed. I'm from the planet Lefty." And at first it kinda, like, started as a joke kind of a thing, but, like, there are times I'll go and I'll visit my mom. And I'm not kidding you, like, there will be, um oh, what are those things called? In the sky, not planes, drones. There'll be, like, these, like, drone type of things that are in the sky, and it'll mess with, like, the Wi-Fi and the phone signal and things like that, and I swear to God, there's something going on up in the sky wise, like, near where my mom lives, which maybe makes sense with what happened to her last night. So, I don't think she's wrong. I She may not even consciously realize it, but when she says things like, "I'm from the planet Lefty," you know, like, "This planet is stupid because we'll talk about things going on in the collective and just the way that planet Earth is right now, and we'll laugh together like, "Oh, yeah, let's hang out with aliens." And it's great that I can have those conversations with my mom because and we'll have those conversations. We'll talk about, like, Palladians and Syrians. We've had those conversations, and she takes me seriously with those things too. So, I think on some level, she knows that she is probably one herself.
Mm. I think, yeah, I could definitely see that. And a lot of people
Mhm.
have those, like when we talk about the three waves of volunteers with Dolores
Yes.
Cannon, even, like I
Yes.
feel like that generation, it's so interesting to think about. Like it's that three waves. And
Mhm.
I'd have to double check. I think, give me a second here. Who is that?
That's Jen.
Ah,
I've gotten texts from Jen, and I've gotten texts from my realtor.
I was like, oh, is it the realtor? How exciting. Um, So give me a second here. I have some notes on the three waves of volunteers from Dolores Cannon. Um, First wave. So this might relate to your mom, right? Was the 1940s, early 1960s.
The boomers, yeah.
So arrived after the atomic bombings, World War II, consists of souls who volunteer directly from source because they never experienced Earth's karmic cycles before. Struggle heavily with planet's
Yeah.
chaotic nature.
A lot of them don't necessarily realize who they are here.
Well, if you're the first to like kind of arrive in
Yeah.
that concept,
Yeah.
like it could be really hard. And then you're giving
Mhm.
birth to that second wave, the
Yeah.
60s to the
Yeah.
80s, which
Yep.
would be
Yep.
you.
That's me.
Yeah.
Me
And then
and Pauly D and, the situation.
the situation, and I'd be part of that third wave. So it's very interesting. Like,
Yeah.
but like, yeah, that's like, so it's interesting that we bring that up, but it's all connected.
Oh, and speaking of, like, my generational wave and just, like, pop culture generation, um, I had this dream, like, maybe 5 or 6 years ago. I don't remember everything that happened in it. I just briefly remember it. I had this dream about Britney Spears, and she was blue in the dream. She was like
Mm.
it was like a verification of her being an Octorian. Like,
Mm.
someone t like, some it was either her that said it or someone else said it, but there was some kind of confirmation in the dream. Like, I don't remember anything else in this dream. I just remember the whole thing was about Britney Spears is an Octorian. That's what the dream
Well,
was.
it's funny because I think she's an Aquarius moon, and like
She is.
so am
Yes.
I.
Yes.
So like I definitely like I think there is like an otherworldly, and a lot of
Mhm.
people who make art like that are
Yeah.
light
A lot of
workers or
highly creative people, for sure.
very interesting. But
And
we
not
could
only
go
that,
down so
but
many wormholes here.
yeah, if you look at her life and, how she's, been under conservatorship and been under a lot of control from other people in her life, I feel like that's very reflective of something that starseeds do experience.
Mm.
Because other people who are maybe just, like, native to Earth or are just, like, on a lower vibrational frequency in general, they're going to want to take control of those who have those highly creative gifts and use it to their own advantage, and that's happened to her.
Well, exactly, right? Yeah, I think
Mhm.
there's a lot that we don't know. And it like it's so interesting. There's
Yeah.
like, oh, I could talk for hours about this. And we
Yeah,
have
we
talked for hours
I
about
know,
this.
we haven't. We could keep going, but yes, this has definitely become a long episode, but we're gonna come back in a future episode and talk about the different types of Palladians, and Kelsey can share with us more about some things in her book, and, yeah, so if this subject aligns with you, stay tuned. We'll be back with more on it, but I think we're going to wrap things up for here because we have been on for a while and we don't want to talk your ears off too much to the point where you get tired of us.
Mm.
Um, I completely forgot to open up the dance floor. I'll leave the dance floor open for like 5 minutes here just in
Mm.
case anybody does want to jump in. So if you are interested in a personal reading, we're going to go ahead and open that up really quick right now for you. From both me and Kelsey. Um, you will get some card pulls from the both of us, and it is only $20 to do so. I'm going to put the link to that into the chat right now, and the link is also in the description of this video. So if you're interested in a reading right here, right now, from the two of us, we're going to leave a small window open for that. So we'll leave about 5 minutes there as we wrap things up. But yeah, any other final thoughts or uh, ideas, perspectives to share on our little extraterrestrial friends before we wrap up?
Mm, I'm just thinking here. I have like, I'm just looking at my notes. Anything of
Yeah.
interest? Hmm.
Yeah, my notes is all here are the different types, which is going to take way more than
That's what I'm
5
thinking. Like
minutes.
everything is too much. Like it delves too much into like a new topic. So
Okay.
I'd say I think I'm done. Done for now.
All right. Well, I'm a little curious. You don't have to get into all of the information in your notes. Uh, but if you could maybe bullet point a little bit of what kind of things are your ideas for our next episode. If mine is starseed descriptions, what people need to know about each one, what is some of the information you have to share for next time?
Well, and interestingly enough, like when I had my starseed reading, she gave a description of kind of each, and I can get like they're small, so I can like quickly
Okay.
talk about that and how they relate. But so so it's interesting when I have the notes about like the first wave of volunteers according to Dolores Cannon. I have some stuff here. Volunteers were the pioneers, so they came to Earth. Collective energy was considered dense and challenging. Felt isolated, struggled. Second wave, described as a quieter group, often helped simply through their presence and energy, which I found interesting. Many are natural healers, teachers, caregivers, or artists, or empaths. The third wave described as arriving with different energetic makeup, more aware of who they are. And that has a lot to do with like the age of, the internet and connecting
Yeah,
people
that's true.
and people being more open to these discussions, right?
Yes,
Highly
for
intuitive,
sure.
sensitive, resistant. So how this connects to like star seeds and aliens, it's like Canon's teachings overlap with the star seed beliefs, right? It's the volunteers are understood to be souls that originated somewhere other than Earth. So, like, and then this plays into the different origins the Palladians, the Arcturians, Syrians, Andromedans, and Mintakans. And when I got my reading, the Mintakan star seed, so she said I was a split star seed, Mintaka, Syrian. And the Mintaka are from the Orion constellation, which was a
Yeah.
utopia,
Yep.
beautiful. Um, and it was interesting because she said there was fear of dark water is kind of a characteristic, and I have nightmares that I'm in like the middle of a dark ocean. So very much resonated with me there, but it no longer exists. The Orion constellation was destroyed in wars. So it's
Yeah,
very
that's
interesting.
true.
So there isn't a home to like return to. And the Syrians have indigenous connections, which is interesting. There's a lot of connection to plant medicine, shamanism, intuition, and I have indigenous heritage within my family, right? So I found that very interesting. So just on a personal level, that's how I kind of relate to those two origins.
Yeah.
But we'll get more into that next time
I would
too.
be curious to know, considering your background is not necessarily Arcturian, how did you get Arcturian
That's what I'm
guards?
curious about too, Heather. That's like
Yeah,
I'm like, wow, okay, that's so interesting. Like if my origins are this, how
right.
come why are they
There's
guiding me?
some
So
yeah, there's some kind of cross reference there with Arcturian. I'm just gonna throw this out there as an idea. It doesn't necessarily have to be what it is, but it could be. Do you think it's possible Philip could have Octorian?
I mean, he is an Aquarius sun, so
I
he
mean, he was obviously there when the healing session was
and he was
starting,
deeply affected. He was like
right?
thrashing around, and he doesn't do that. Like he doesn't like he's
So that's the only thing I can think of is I'm like, well, I mean, if the 2 of you made this commitment to spend this life together, you have this soul contract in place before coming here, then maybe because of that soul contract, that's where if he has those origins, then maybe that's where they come from.
maybe. I don't know.
Could be possible, just an idea, something for you to explore. That's
Oh,
for
I
you
have
to figure
much
out.
to explore. Much to explore. Always.
Yeah.
I'm always like, oh, but now I'm like obsessed with Chiron. I need to know more about Chiron now,
Yes.
and I need to know more about the Arcturians.
Chiron, Octorians, there's so much to deep dive here.
Mhm,
Obviously, if you guys like the deep dives, then you are clearly in the right place.
mhm.
Yeah, that's really interesting, and that's really interesting about the waves too. Um, I feel like some of the information that I have here about like the star children kind of align with that because yeah, I have like the indigos here which kinda starts going back to, like, the '50s, I wanna say,
Mhm.
and then, like, the Crystal Children and the Rainbow Children, so
Oh, that's maybe another.
yeah.
Maybe that's a piece of our other topic that we talk about is
Yeah.
the children.
Yes, and which is still us because, I mean, like, we have, uh yeah, because like, the Indigos kinda touch on boomers, not as much. I feel like there's like, the Indigos are more Gen X, like, maybe more
I
early
feel like the
Gen X.
70s, 80s, like that's kind of like what I resonate with when I think about Indigo kids is like that
Yeah,
age group.
because Crystal Children, with the information I have, kinda comes in like, the '80s is such a weird time. This is probably why I feel like I don't belong in any generation, because the Indigos bleed into the '80s, but then the Crystals also start in the '80s.
Mm.
So, yeah, so you have, like, this weird blending, um, which is interesting. So, yeah, I don't know, we'll see. It's all good. We're gonna have a lot of stuff to talk about here.
Oh, yes. A deep dive is needed. And I have much
Yes.
to discover. Now you've got me thinking about Philip and his extraterrestrial connections.
Yeah, like I said, just an idea because I'm like, I don't know where else it would come from if that's not your background specific, but you have a soul contract with him and he's a big part of your life and he I mean, he was there being affected, so uh,
Oh.
exactly. I'm like, maybe he's the Octorian. I don't know. And Britney Spears must be an Octorian for whatever reason. I dreamt about that.
I think there's
So,
connections between all those things, which is why,
yes.
and there's like I said, like even Dolores Cannon, who like she's like the pioneer of a lot of this. She's like, I was still learning stuff. Like I still was
Yeah.
learning at the end of my sessions, but it's like she doesn't even have that full picture, right? It's
No.
mm,
It's like an onion. You're peeling back many, many layers. It never ends. For sure.
mm,
Okay. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed hanging out with us today as we talked about aliens and you'll come back for more. We'll get into more of the different types and um all the different things, deep dive into it. But now you know some of our personal experiences, so you know where we're coming from. And next week, we're going to take a break from aliens and we're going to get into the summer solstice. So if you're excited to start summer on a good foot, definitely come back and join us next week. And if you are around Golden, Colorado this weekend, come and say hi to me at New Terrain Brewery. So,
mm. Love it. Woohoo!
yes, indeed.
The adult scholastic book fair.
Yes, it is for adults. because a lot of the books they're gonna be selling are gonna be
Are they
spicy
spicy?
books. They're spicy books.
Okay.
Yes. So it's it's not gonna be for the kids. It's not your little golden books.
I was trying to think of a joke, but I'm not gonna. Yeah, no. Well, this is a clean podcast.
It's all good. Okay, you guys. Well, we're gonna wrap things up here, but thank you for hanging out with us, and we will see you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel.
See you next week.
Bye.